Good evening, my name is Leoric Silverbloom, and I'll be your host for tonight. In this occasion, I want to talk about the life of the man among men, Ernest Miller Hemingway himself. Also, I'll be using this background again because we don't use this background that often, and I kinda want to show this background more because, I'm kinda proud of that background. Anyway, that being said, I'll tell you about his incredible life story from the beginning until the end, and hopefully covering all of the important and interesting events of his life. He's known for his work like For Whom the Bell Tolls, but that's the least interesting thing about his life, compared to U-boat hunting. Yes, he used to hunt U-boat. I know, that sounds weird for an outdoor. Now that I grab your attention, strap up and enjoy the action-packed life of Ernest Miller Hemingway himself, the Chad amongst Chad. Okay, let's be honest here. His early life is not that eventful, so let's get this over quickly so we can get to the good stuff faster, okay? He was born in Chicago in 1899. Wait, let me check my notes. Yes, 1899. And okay, so he was a journalist before he became a novelist. And he started in high school. And he also played a lot of sports, blah 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 blah. He got bored of it and decided not to enter college, but went to Kansas City, where he went to work as a reporter for around 6 months. But this short 6 months really shaped his writing style. In 1917, he wants to enter the World War One, the Great War, and he applied for military service, but repeatedly rejected for his eyesight. He managed to enter World War One via a Red Cross recruitment, actually, and he signed on to be an ambulance driver in Italy. So he sailed from New York to Paris in 1918. I think at this point, Paris is still under heavy German bombardment. Anyway, he made it to the Italian front, relatively safe. For his first mission, he was sent to the scene of a munition factory explosion to join the rescuers, retrieving the shredded remains of female workers. Yeah, it's a bit grim, I'm sorry. He retrieved the bodies in fragments and chunks, and shortly after that, he got injured by mortar fire and sent to the field hospital. But not before he assisted some Italian soldiers to safety, for which he received the Italian Silver Medal of Bravery. During his time in hospital, he fell in love with a nurse, but when he got back to America, she left him for an Italian officer, and that experience and heartbreak changed him, and he learned to leave his woman before she left him. Right, now we finally get to the good stuff. He returned home, and now 20 years old veteran, Hemingway was mature beyond his age. I also heard a report that stated that he drank a lot to his PTSD, but I cannot locate the source, so that's that. He moved to Chicago to live with a friend and got a job as an associate editor. And he fell in love with his roommate's sister and married her and moved to Paris. In Paris, he started writing, hang out with Pablo Picasso, got drunk as fuck, moved back to Toronto, had a kid, moved back to Paris, where he drank some more and hang out with lots of famous people. And he went on a trip to do some skiing and bullfighting in Spain and hunting. At this point, he published some books, and he cheated with another woman, left his family behind, and married the other woman. Yeah, I don't think he's on a good term with his roommate anymore. Oh, he also converted to Catholicism because this new girl is apparently from a wealthy Catholic family. Well, there you go. And after he injured himself, when he pulled a skylight down on his head, thinking he was pulling on a toilet chain, he's fed up with Paris and moved back to America. You know, skylight, it's the window on the ceiling. Yeah, he pulled that down. Also, uh, When his wife asked him about the scar on his head, he avoided the question for a few while before he admit to it. Shortly after moving back, his dad committed suicide and is quoted to say, "I'll probably go the same way." Well, that's a bit ominous. Few years after that, his life got stable enough for him to calm down, and he shocked off a car accident, and then he went for a 10 weeks long vacation in Africa where he contracted dysentery and turned his ass inside out, prolapse. And then he went home, published more books. He bought a boat called the Pillar and sailed the Caribbean for a little while. In 1937, the Spanish Civil War broke out and he was sent to cover the war as a journalist. Nothing interesting happened here, surprisingly. Shortly after that, he moved to Cuba and met another woman, bought a farm, got divorced, married the other woman, shot himself while aiming at a shark, kept dozens and dozens of cats as a pet. Well, not a pet, as pets. And at this point in time, he wrote For Whom the Bell Tolls, sold 500,000 copies in a month, got an award for it, and he's dispatched to China to cover some stuff where he got recruited to work for Soviet intelligence, the KGB. And also, this is the crazy part. I still don't know how he managed to pull this off. He convinced the Cuban government to arm his ship, the Pillar, with shitloads of guns and moved back to America just in time for the announcement of war. During the World War II, he went to London, got into a car accident, and his wife had enough of him and divorced him. Well, I cannot blame her really. So yeah, that opened up his old wound, I guess. And he married a girl that he only met for the third time, I think. So yeah, he got married again. So far he sounds like 80s movie protagonist more than a real person, but watch this. He accompanied the troops in the Normandy landing in Omaha Beach, and then be declared as a leader of a band of village militia just outside of Paris, which I must tell you that it broke the Geneva Convention, and for that he brought on the charges. He got away with it by saying that he only offered advice and be there just in time to cover the liberation of Paris. There's also a legend and rumor about that he's the first time to step foot in Paris, but that's just rumor. Just an urban legend. Also, he covered the Battle of the Bulge while being ill, though he's a bit too late on that one because he was hospitalized for pneumonia for weeks. For all of these, he was awarded a Bronze Star. And now we're back to Cuba. Now, retired as a writer, he enjoyed a calm and happy life in his retirement home. Yeah, right, I'm kidding. No, he got into few more car accidents. He got into depression because of his literary friends dying left and right. Also during this period, he suffered from headaches, high blood pressure, weight problem, and diabetes, probably because his drinking habits, most likely. Also, while tracking Nazi submarines with machine gun, I am not kidding. He used machine gun and hand grenades to hunt Nazi U-boats. Oh, also he got clawed while playing with a lion. Not a big deal. So, he traveled to Venice, had an affair with a 19 years old girl. Well, thankfully this time he didn't marry this one, but she managed to get him to write another novel about their love story. The novel sank like a rock, it doesn't catch on. And he wrote another one. Because he's angry at his failure, he wrote another novel in 8 weeks. And the second one won him some awards. And then he went to Africa, survived 2 plane crashes in 24 hours. I am not kidding. The first one crash landed near the bushes. Well, the second one, the plane literally exploded. He survived that one, but it caused a cerebral cerebral fluid leaks that will affect him later in life. But he survived, so he returned to civilization only to find a bunch of reporters waiting to cover his death. Also, he got caught in a bushfire shortly after that. He went home, won a Nobel Prize. Listen, after all the shit we talk about, Nobel Prize doesn't seem like much, doesn't it? He drank his liver away. Oh, also he locked some of his shit in Cuba and moved to Idaho because he's paranoid that the feds were following him. Well, you remember that he was a KGB agent in the 40s? Yeah, maybe that's a good reason to follow him. So yeah, the feds definitely on him. After moving to Idaho, he grew increasingly paranoid about his money and the shits he left in Cuba. Also, the FBI had opened up a file on him during World War II. When he used the pillar to hunt U-boat near Cuba. And his condition got worse. He received 15 electroconvulsive therapy and his release in ruins. After a few months, his wife found him in the kitchen with a shotgun. Well, they managed to get him sedated. He received 3 more electroconvulsive therapy, got released again. Well, he tried to kill himself with a shotgun again, and this time he is successful and he blew his head off. I believe this is not an act of desperation. This is the end that he chose for himself. He predicted it when he commented on his father's death, if you remember. So yeah, he was right. He left this world just like his old man. And that's it. That's the life of Ernest Miller Hemingway. I must say, his life is full of action, and I respect the man so much. I still respect him and look up to him until this day. And I'm really sorry for the quality of this video that it dropped a bit from last time because I'm a bit under the weather. So yeah, I'm really sorry. The next video will be better. I promise you. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for your support as usual, and good night.